Welcome back to Pittsburgh Sports Now. I'm George Michalowski, Pitt basketball beat writer, covering the Duquesne Dukes as well this year. So today I'd like to bring on a very special guest, Dae Dae Grant, Duquesne guard, one of the best guards in the A10, one of the best players in the A10. He's had a stellar start to the season so far for the 7-1 Dukes, who have won 6 straight. So Dae Dae, welcome on. Thank you for joining me, man.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me.
So Dae Dae obviously is a Miami, Ohio transfer, came into Duquesne this year and has really, helped the Dukes off to this tremendous start, averaging 19 points per game so far. How would you describe this first couple of games here in Pittsburgh for you? It's probably been surreal for you, am I right?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I'm liking and loving the atmosphere here. The coaching staff, I'm loving my teammates. It's a little different than Miami, but I'm loving where I'm at, man. It feels like home.
So you've been scoring, with the best of them in the country. 4 games of at least 24 points for you, I believe, this year. A couple games with 26. You've made 6 3-pointers in multiple games, which not many guys can say this year. So I want to, look into your mind right now, in the mind of a scorer. So if you're coming up against your defender one-on-one in the half court, take me through your decision-making process. How are you going to break him down? What kind of shots are you going to look for?
Really, I'm trying to just get into our offense first off. Whether I have the ball or if I'm off the ball, I'm trying to really just see like what we got going on, what we're gonna run. Then if I do receive it or if the play is for me, I'm trying to create for either myself or my teammates, and that's really gonna play off of what the defense is giving me in that particular moment and situation. So like rather if they're playing off or super tight, I'm just gonna try to create space with any movement I can possibly, whether I have the ball or not, to get free myself, not only but my teammates as well, to just try and get us the best possession offensively.
I got you. So you're also shooting 55% from 3-point range so far this season. That's good for 6th in the entire country right now. So, has that always been a big strength of yours, 3-point shooting, or is that something you've really improved over this past year?
So leaving high school, it was a strength for sure my senior year. But like I would say like junior year, I was progressing as well as coming off of a hand injury in high school. And then before the years before then, it was just a process and progression of just working to get my jumper better, shoot on the gun a lot more. So I was able to shoot in high school, but it just wasn't as good or well as some people would say, and as I would grade myself. But I tend to work on my jump shot a lot, really just to try and make it harder for others to guard me, teams to guard me, and us.
So speaking of, big 3-point shots, I got to ask you about, Jimmy's game winner the other night against Ball State. Jimmy Clark hit a game-winning 3. If you haven't seen it, go check it out right now for the Dukes to advance to 7-1. So, Dae Dae, from your point of view, how did that shot go down? What was that moment like?
True, man. We got it out. We were moving, and we didn't really – I don't think we really had a play call. Or we had a play call. It didn't go through. We just kept playing. And shoot, man, he felt one. I guess he gave the guy a couple of fakes, man, a couple of pump fakes, and he knocked it down. I was just trying to see who was gonna be open and if I can get myself open, and that wasn't the case. So I was trying to rebound, and after that, get under the hoop, try to get a tip in if I could. But he knocked it down, man. That's what we need. He came in clutch. That was a crazy shot.
It was. So how has it been playing alongside, a whole new group of guys? Duquesne brought in 10 new players this season, 5 freshmen, 3 JUCO guys. I believe 2 JUCO guys, 3 transfers. So what's it been like, getting to know these guys, getting to know their game on the court as well?
It's been fun, to be honest, bro. Like, it's like a whole bunch of new people coming to an entire new school, and it's just we all just gelled and came together so fast, and we got along so quick. And I'm not sure if others see it, but we tend to see it, and it's shown on the court as far as our record so far. But yeah, man, we gel. We spend a lot of time together off the court, but as well as on the court, we click as well. So it's really fun and exciting just to be around those guys, and then even more play with them and win. It's a lot of fun and excitement that we're all just looking forward to try and improve and continue.
Right. So obviously you entered the transfer portal last offseason. You choose Duquesne. Can you tell me about what that time in the portal was like, though? How many schools, who was calling you? What was that decision making process like to come to Duquesne?
Yeah, so man, to be honest, it was hectic. The recruiting process and stuff, there were many schools. To be honest, I don't really want to get into all those schools, but there were a lot of schools, highs, lows, mids, you name it. But it was a crazy experience, but I loved it. Most importantly, I didn't get to experience that my first time being recruited. Um, and really it was a lot, man. It was a lot. But my people in my corner and coaching staff here, they stayed true and loyal to me. We have also built a relationship while I was in high school, while I was committed to Miami. I believe it was before I was committed, but I was verbal commit there, and like we had some conversation still. But I went to Miami, and I was still cool with Coach Dan brought in the staff, whatnot. And then I entered the portal. They reached back out, and um, we our relationship continued, and they still talked about the same things, but even more. It's closer to home here, man. My family could get to the games, so they really checked all boxes for me to end up here at Duquesne, man. And even the home feeling and the close feeling of just being home. Now it's 2 hours away instead of 4, being back at Miami. So just a lot more boxes checked off. It felt more of a business and just a comfort move to just come here, as well as being uncomfortable though, going to a new environment, team, coach, players, even a program that had lost the year before. So it was just a lot of new things thrown at me, but a lot of so many good things that were thrown into the bunch as well, that just made me feel like this was a home place for me.
So you mentioned, coming into a new environment in last year, what was a losing team environment. So, excuse me. So since you've joined the Dukes, what has it been like to play for Coach Dambrot? Practicing games. What's he like when you're on the bench, when you're in the game?
To be honest, man, I get a kick out of Coach D. He's funny, man. Coach D is 65, I believe. And he don't sit down. He won't sit down. He's up the entire 2 hour plus practice, yelling and just trying to get more out of us. And I love that, man. He says crazy things sometimes, but that's him, man. And you gotta love that sometimes, especially coming from him and the relationship that I've been built with him before I even stepped foot on his campus and the entire staff as well. It's like a norm to me to hear the maybe what would be some crazy things that he'll say to others or that some others will hear, but it's like a norm for me because I know of Coach, I know him, and I've actually been around of that kind of those type of messages being delivered the way that he delivers them. I've been around that growing up, so it's not too much of a shock for me, but I love that. I love being around Coach D and the entire staff, man. They bring a lot of juice and excitement, man.
So we'll wrap this up now. I want to ask you for the rest of this season, obviously the next game coming up on Thursday night against Marshall at home, but for the rest of the season, what are your big goals personally and as a team? What do you want to accomplish this season with Duquesne?
To be honest, I really just want to win A-10 championship, man. Win as much as we can and just go dancing, to be honest. I just want to win most of all. I don't really have no personal accolades except just to be a professional NBA ball player when this is all said and done. But really right now is what my mind is focused on, and that's just trying to win, man, with my guys, my brothers, and the entire coaching staff. I love to win. I'm trying to do whatever I can in my power, rather it's play more or harder on the defensive end, get more assists, like anything in my will that I need to do that I recognize or am told I'm trying to do that just for us to get that W, man, each and every night.
Awesome. Well, sounds good, Dae Dae. Thank you very much for joining the show. I'm George Michalowski with Pittsburgh Sports Now. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.